Hi there, welcome to Lux Attic. In today's video we'll take a closer look at the 10 most expensive Rolex watches ever sold. Rolex, the renowned Swiss manufacturer that produces some of the most expensive, high-end, mechanical watches in the world, has broken the record once again, for being the brand that has the most incredible resale value of its famous historical timepieces. If you are in the market for a true classic watch, in 2020 the starting price of a Rolex was $13,337. They raised their price by 7% this year, even though a global pandemic hit, and most people have been forced to reevaluate their lifestyles. Their standards have stood the test of time since 1905, when the company's founder, Hans Wilsdorf, had a vision for a timeless wristwatch, which is not only elegant and exquisite, but reliable as well. From the good old days till today, celebrities, world leaders, and even some politicians have owned Rolex watches. Some of the names you might recognize are Paul Newman, Winston Churchill, Elvis Presley, Dr. Martin Luther King, Che Guevara, John F. Kennedy, Barack Obama, Cristiano Ronaldo, Roger Federer, Tiger Woods, or Victoria Beckham, just to name a few. Here's a look at the top 10 most expensive Rolex watches ever sold, either through a public or private auction. 10. Rolex Platinum Diamond Pearlmaster. Sold for $277,850 in March 2011. The Platinum Diamond Pearlmaster is the 10th most expensive Rolex ever sold as of today. Unlike its contemporary sibling, the Rolex Platinum Pearlmaster is actually based on the DayDate collection, instead of the Datejust. The limited edition 39mm dial of this watch is made from a special meteorite diamond, and counts exactly 42 diamonds on its unique bezel. 9. James Bond's 1972 Rolex Submariner. Sold for $365,000 in November 2015. This Submariner was actually worn by Sir Roger Moore in 1973, while playing the famous James Bond, in the movie Live and Let Die. It was sold in a Geneva auction in 2015 for $365,000, even though the watch does not even tell time anymore. It was modified from its original design specifically for the movie, and the back was signed by Roger Moore. The bezel of this watch was changed to look like a circular saw, which James Bond used to cut a rope in the movie, while the magnetic field of the watch is used to unzip Miss Caruso's beautiful dress. This watch is one of the most popular timepieces in the world, because of the history and fame the James Bond franchise brought to it. 8. The Rolex GMT-Master 2 Ice, sold for $485,350 in 2020. The craftsmanship of this watch is simply priceless, which is what makes this watch the most expensive new Rolex. It is covered in its entirety by precious stones, and made from a cool white gold. The dial has a pattern made out of diamonds and gold, and it also includes a waterproof case that's resistant up to 100 meters, or 330 feet, as well as a 50-hour power reserve. Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the most popular football players of our times, has worn this watch on December 28, 2019, during the 14th edition of the Dubai International Sports Conference. 7. Jack Nicklaus Rolex DayDate. Sold for $1.22 million in December 2019. This 18-karat gold Rolex was given to gifted to Jack Nicklaus by Rolex in 1967, and it has brought him lots of luck. He has proudly worn it pretty much every day since it was gifted to him, and it accompanied him on 12 out of his 18 major professional championship titles, such as the US Masters Championships, PGA Championships, or the Open Championships, and various other events throughout his 5 decades career. It was sold on December 10, 2019 for $1 million in a private auction, which means $1.22 million with the buyer's premium. The proceeds from the sale were donated to Nicklaus's charity, the Nicklaus Children's Healthcare Foundation. 6. Eric Clapton's Rolex Oyster Albino, Cosmograph Daytona. Sold for $1.4 million in May 2015. The Oyster Albino is so special, because there are only 4 of them in the world that have the dial in a single color. Usually the dial on the Daytona has 2 colors, to make the chronograph totalizers contrast with the rest of the dial. This particular watch sold not just once, but twice, for staggering amounts of money during public auctions. The first time was in 2003 for $505,000, and the second time in May 2015, for $1.4 million at another Phillips auction in Geneva. 5. Marlon Brando's Apocalypse Now, Rolex GMT-Master, sold for $1.952 million in December 2019. After only 15 minutes of intense bidding at a recent Phillips auction in December 2019, this GMT-Master Rolex sold way over the expected price. This watch, manufactured in 1972, and worn in the 1979 movie Apocalypse Now by the award-winning actor Marlon Brando, is unique because the bezel was also removed for the movie at the request of Francis Ford Coppola. It also has a black leather strap, which on its own is nothing special, but most Rolex watches are not equipped with leather straps. They are known for their bracelets. 4. The Rolex Antimagnetique Reference 4113 from 1942. Sold for $2.5 million in May 2016. The Rolex Antimagnetique Reference 4113 from 1942 is the oldest watch on our list, and the fourth most expensive Rolex ever sold. It also has the largest case of any Rolex ever built, at 44 mm. As far as it is known, there are only 12 Reference 4113 watches that still exist nowadays. This particular model was initially designed as a special gift to celebrate a race victory. This is the second watch on our list that is sold at multiple auctions. Most recently in 2013 at Christie's for $1.16 million, and for almost double the price in Geneva at the Phillips auction in May 2016. 3. The Rolex Bao Dai, sold for $5.1 million in May 2017. This Rolex Reference 6062 was initially sold to the last emperor of Vietnam's Nguyen dynasty, back in 1954. At that time, it was the most expensive Rolex watch. The wonderful gold case, with its black dial, makes this watch one of the rarest, but also one of most recognizable Rolex models of all time. According to Hodinkee, only 3 were ever produced, and this particular watch is the only one that has diamonds on the even hours, which makes it one of the most sought-after watches in the world. The Bao Dai sold in May 2017, at the Phillips auction in Geneva for $5.1 million. This watch was also previously sold by the Nguyen family in 2002 for $235,000, the biggest price for a Rolex watch at the time. 2. 1971 Rolex Daytona Reference 626 Unicorn. Sold for $5.9 million in May 2018. Looking at the pictures of this particular model can easily make you understand its ridiculous price tag. The Unicorn is the only vintage white gold Rolex Cosmograph Daytona ever produced, and the proceeds from this sale were donated to the charity Children Action by watch collector John Goldberger. 1. Paul Newman's iconic Rolex Daytona. Sold for $17.8 million in October 2017. Paul Newman's Daytona is the most expensive watch ever sold in the world, which breaks the previous record held by a 1943 Patek Philippe, which sold for $11 million in 2016. Watch collectors bid so high for this particular model because of its previous owner's unique story. It was gifted to Paul Newman by his wife Joanna Woodward, while Paul was starring in the movie Winning, in 1969. That's it. We're pretty sure this list will change in the next couple of years, as Rolex is a brand the most affluent and powerful people in the world can associate with. It is a symbol of success. We hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to click that like button, leave a comment, and of course, subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.